gladly on our Breakfast TV show this morning. My name is Chidinma Orangwa, and as usual, we are going to kickstart the program this morning by bringing your way the stories that are trending on our national dailies. But we will start with EBS website. And of course, I am not alone this morning. For the presentation, I have Michael and Co. seated right here with me this morning. Angelo, good morning.
Good morning. Chidima, I love the way you're radiant this morning. India Nambra, good morning. Sit back, relax, and then enjoy what we have for you this morning. It's going to be a pleasant day.
All right, we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we are going to introduce our discussion. Stay with us. On the show, and our guests this morning are uh, Onyeka Obieza. He's a public affairs analyst. Glad to have you on the show this morning, Onyeka.
Good morning, dear number, and God bless us.
We also have Samuel Ololo, also a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, Dima. Good morning, Dana. Good morning,
All right, just to let you know that you can also be part of the show this morning. The number you can use to get us is displayed in front of your television set. So we're starting with the stories that we have on our website this morning. The first story on ABS website is leadership of Nsugbe community seeks investigation into murder of 2 youths. ROLAC CSO's intensify campaign on elimination of violence against the women and girls. Soludo visits Olumbanasa, Anambra West, the Kenzo area, reassures of improving welfare of underprivileged people. Okay, these are our stories on websites this morning, ABS website. Let's start with you, Onyeka. You've seen the stories trending on our website. So which of them would you want to talk about?
Well, the three of them are okay. But especially on the murder of the youth in Nsugbe. Last time I was coming back from Oba, on the radio I was listening to radio station where they were announcing that people should not go through the Nsugbe, through the old road.
Okay.
Or people should go through the express. So I was asking somebody, I said there's some crash there, you know. So those are especially the youth unrest. Sometimes, most times, it's good for government to wade into it, because of the most communities are so much into leaving the youth untanned, so they take unnecessary actions. Some of them will just, because of ego, start making trouble, and before you know anything, it results into a very serious disaster. So I think the community leaders should look into that, and they also look for youth employment. The government should think more about that. Youth employment, because most of them are free. And it used to be said that an idle mind is devil's workshop. If a young man that is able-bodied and everything na alụọlụ rapụ ya ọ na-agagharị na nkịtị before you know anything. But if they're engaged in doing something throughout the day, by night they will be they'll be weak and sleep, wake up to go to work again. But if they are okay, in the morning they start sleeping. By the time they wake up, they are hungry, and if don't see anything to eat, before you know anything, they will just go out and start looking for what to eat. And then they will never do it in a gentle way because they didn't give you money to keep. So if they come to you and say, but so because of that, they will start to look for something to intimidate you. Why doing that? It will cause a lot of problems. So I believe that government should find a way to engage the youths. If they're engaged, I think the violence will reduce drastically. We have a lot of things to engage them.
Exactly.
We are talking about food shortage. Food shortage where we have massive lands to cultivate. Government can invest into agriculture and engage the youth to be busy with it. Farming today is no more like you use your hoe and cutlass. They can use machineries and get them engaged. Poultry is farm, fishery is farm, cultivating to plant trees are there. So there are a lot of things government can do to get them engaged. It mustn't necessarily be like they must go and sit in the office to start writing.
Well, talking about government, we also commend the government of Anambra State. Not quite long ago, about 5,000 youths were empowered, people that went to learn skill, under one youth, two skills program. That's initiative by the present administration. And I think the present administration is also running a youth inclusive government because we can see some policies and programs that are being brought out for youths to participate in Anambra State. We have the Code Anambra that is ongoing, and we also know that the One Youth, Two Skills initiative will still continue. But then again, I don't think the government can do it alone. I mean, employing all the youths or engaging all the youths in Anambra State. They're still calling on stakeholders, well-meaning Nigerians in different villages, different communities to, put hands together and see how we can help these people. It's not about going to school. Some people can learn skills. Some people can do yes, and then the one we call labor boy. Yeah. Some people can still go and learn trade and all that. So I think the government is trying, but just like you say, we need to do more. But Imanas NATO, Deacon and Coleman, so we are commending the present administration in Anambra State. Let's come to you, Sam. ROLAC CSOs intensify a campaign on elimination of violence against women and girls. What's your thoughts on that?
Okay, so for me, this goes a long way to show that the business of development does not just lie with the government alone. Every individual has their own role to play, whether organized civil societies and organized labor and then interested citizens. I remember when ROLAC came to Anambra State almost 5 years ago, thereabouts, when they started their ROLAC, rule of law and anti-corruption. Yeah. And they have really gone deep into different sectorial areas, trying to address peculiar issues in Anambra State, as well as other states where they are. I want to draw a connection between what ROLAC is doing around gender violence, trying to raise that awareness, trying to ensure that the necessary laws are well enforced. Currently, statistically, by NDHS, National Demographic and Housing Survey, that every 1 in 3 girls have either been molested, have experienced sexual violence. So these things are prevalent within us. And so it is a welcome development that we have CSOs in Anambra State who are holding the government account to really see ways that we can fill up the gap. But I want to draw a quick line between what is going on in ROLAC and then what the governor going to Olumbanasa. There are communities in Anambra State, just as in other parts of Nigeria, that feel that they are left out. And I bet you, whenever we look at these statistics, it is very, very damning in those communities. Because more like they barely obey the rule of law there. People still practice their traditional and cultural way of life, where you see girls being given at a young age, where you see girls being maltreated and then you are not made to talk because, of course, there is no adequate education there. And this is making us understand that it is good that the governor currently visited Olubanasa in Anambra West. And when I saw it, the feeling, it was sensational for me. And then beyond it, I don't want to believe that it's a photo ops, even if it is, for whatever it is, but let there also be that commensurate effort by the government to connect governance to those people. And the last time when we carried out, still on gender violence conversation to those areas, many of them don't even have electricity, as bad as that. Many of them, their houses, you can barely ask if government even exists for these people. So for me, it's a good one that the governor visited the community. And this would have been, for me, in my mind, for the community to really come up with a catchy charter of demand to really present to the governor and tell the governor that if you can do this, you have launched us on a path towards sustainable development and towards growth. And then looking at it, that also means that for our women to really, when we talk about gender violence and other domestic violence, it also means that we need to bring more women into to access education, to access healthcare. When these are not predominant, and also need to look at their economic well-being, because a woman who can take care of herself can have a higher measure to really forestalling gender violence. So CSOs would only, led by ROLAC and other CSOs, would only do what we can do to make sure that the laws are in place and implemented. But we need the government to make sure that they open their ears, listen to the cries of these people, and forestall situations whenever they arise.
Thank you so much for that, Ololo. Quickly, let's go to the first papers that we have for review, and we'll be starting with the Daily Sun. And the banner headline there says, banks G3 over fresh recapitalization plan. And the writers there are saying, OPS, others ask CBN to peg banks' capital base at 100 billion naira. And DMBs begin major talks. Christmas, Zenith Bank lights up Lagos Street. You can find that on page 2. And you also have Abuja residents on edge as bandits terrorized four area councils. You can find that on page 4. Beggars banned in Federal Secretariat. 87 trillion naira debt suspends loan to Nigeria's 36 states over misspending, Serap tells World Bank. That you can find on page 6 of the Daily Sun. Edo IGL to hit 70 billion in 2024, says Obaseki. And the writer there says, takes Edo Economic Summit to China, woos investors with business-friendly reforms, other incentives. Deputy Speaker Kalu Moore's bill for National Apprenticeship Scheme. That you can find on page 6. And we have gunmen kidnap murder monarch in Imo State. Enugu residents sent a loud mba for addressing water scarcity. Calls for more reticulation, warn vandals. And then federal government steps into cooking gas crisis, sets up committee to crash price, and then 3,000 barrels of crude oil lost. That is in November 15, offshore oil spill, nose dry, coming up with that. And quickly, let's go to the Punch. Let's take 2 papers because of want of time. Mega banks boast 10 trillion capital base. Others seek fresh investors. And then we have that's a banner. And then we have the writer there saying, Wema Bank, Fidelity, others set rights issues over 8 national regional banks may require new capital. CBN may give lenders 12 to 24 months timeline for capital raising. Central bank urge to engage banks. Zenith Bank unveils Christmas lights, praise for peace. And then we have lawmakers push for 32 new federal universities. Armed robbers invade Ogunpoli communities, shoot students. And then lecturers shortage hits universities. ASU blames JAKPA and IPPIS. Companies raise salary by 4.6 trillion in 6 months. That's coming from the National Bureau of Statistics. Governor bid, hotel cancels Obaseki deputies venue booking. That's what we have on the first papers this morning for review. What's your take on that based on this bank's G3 over fresh recapitalization plan?
Well, what we have today, because of inflation and the free fall of Naira, they need very high density of capital to manage the banks and to be able to operate.
How would that affect the strength of the Naira and then bolster the economy of Nigerians?
The strength of the Naira is not based on the commercial banks. They are doing it, what they want, they need enough capital to manage their customers, especially in the area of loan. If they have to run the economy to make the economy come up, the bank should be based, should have capital base. Because if the money is in circulation and people are doing activities with money, it will help to manage the economy. But if the banks has no money to give out, then everybody is flawed. So the best, what they are saying, the 10 trillion, if it's possible, like other banks are saying 100 billion. Other banks,
to be
but the mega banks will want to play a big brother's role by saying they are ready for 10 trillion. So who has that one? It's only few banks, maybe Zenith Bank, First Bank, Fidelity Bank, and UBA. Those are the banks that can stand and say they can raise as much as, and not all of them that I called now, because some of them will not even have up to that. But if there is a way they can raise such money, and they are ready to make it move around within the system, and the customers will have access to loans to run their businesses, then our economy will be fine. But this one, you go to bank to take loan, they will turn you and ask you to go and bring your great-grandmother from the grave to come and sign for you because they don't have it. I know if they have, they want to give out because no bank want to keep the money in their coffers without using it. It's the more they use it, the more they have money. So I think the problem is having the capital. And again, some of them are even investing out of the country to have a better foreign capital, foreign currency, instead of investing in Nigeria. So that is the problem. The truth is that nobody in Nigeria is like trusting the Nigerian system. Like they're talking about Japa. You are working here for maybe 12 hours and they are paying you 50,000. And you go abroad and work for maybe 5-6 hours. You are paid $1,000. So look at the margin. So the problem in Nigeria is that I don't understand the managers of our economy, what they are doing. Most of them are interested in just taking money from the system.
Wow.
You know, because if all of us are taken care of, nobody will be interested. Nigeria is very fine, I'm telling you. God so designed this country, and we have everything. Just like we are talking about agriculture now. If the government can invest in agriculture fully, mechanize it, and let the youth get interested in it. Because when you say farming, every youth don't want to go to farm. But if they are mechanized, everybody will be proud to say, I'm a farmer. Internationally, farmers are the biggest business people. But here, during the time of, when mango come up now, within the 3 months, pear pepper is finished. But you go abroad, you'll be eating mango around the clock.
Well, we'll get to that, but let me get back to you. There are two stories here that catches my fancy, and I want you to look into them. First is the 3,000 barrels of crude oil lost to the November 15 offshore spill, and then federal government stepping into cooking gas crisis, and they need to set up a committee. And then you begin to wonder, when you know the pinch Nigerians are facing in a particular sector, does setting up a committee actually alleviate the suffering of the masses? What's your take on that?
Okay, so, you know, the government works for both the haves and the have-nots, really. And you cannot just wake up and make a policy pronouncement. It's advisable that you set up people who would do the necessary underground work. If the government does not really set up any committee before coming up with a position, a policy position, I bet you Nigerians would complain because there might be an area or there might be certain areas that were not really well thought out and they were not really looked into. So one thing I'm expecting now, and this is us using through the ABS platform this morning, to charge this committee that they should be diligent in their work. And they should reach out to every necessary groups as possible. Why reaching out to every necessary groups? What does it do? It makes them have the overview of the situation on ground as being felt by the citizens, so that when they're coming up with a solution, it will be what will cut across the marginal line, and not just arbitrarily saying because you have been given a mandate, then come up with something that is not applicable or applicable. And it also helps for buy-in. So for the government, really, problems face us every day. We know that. So I think what we want as citizens, and when we say Nigerians don't really ask for much, it is because we want to see proactive government who sees issues and tackle them head on. So setting up a committee is a way to begin. But the issues now is, what are the mandates given to this committee? And how will this committee actually carry out their work? Unfortunately, in Nigeria, most times when we are doing things, it begins to tilt towards ethnic and political leanings. No. If we really want a country that we can all be proud of, if we really want a country where things would work out well, typical example, we are talking about the capitalization of banks. Unfortunately, if we check well, this conversation started in 2004 when Soludo merged banks and raised their capitalization minimum of 25 billion. Today, what we are talking about is 100 billion. It's to make you understand how far we have traveled. And as at then, banks were complaining. Many banks had to merge because they cannot afford 25 billion. But now, what we are talking about is 100 billion. So it is to make you understand the purchasing powers of Nigerians, really. So I have no problem with whatever they want to do to really make the bank, yes, to make the bank strong. But finally, let me say that an average Nigerian woman, people who go to buy cooking gas, they know that every day it has been, the inflation rate is very high on it. So this is what we want this committee to really look at, and not just arbitrarily bringing up policy direction. And finally, what the government needs to really do is this crude oil, our barrel that is being lost. They need to really tackle that head on. Obviously, we have come up with that argument that an average Nigerian, an ordinary Nigerian cannot go and steal crude oil. You don't even know where it is to start with. Even if you know where it is, you don't even have the equipment or infrastructure to assess it. So government should look at themselves to the face and ensure that there is enough for Nigerians. Because when there is enough, then that is when price can go down. This is also what we want the committee to look at.
Lecturers shortage, that's...
We look at it at the other papers because of time. Let's see what we have at the Daily Independent, front page of Daily Independent. Investors, OK Bank's fresh recapitalization edge transparency. That's the banner headline at the front page of the Daily Independent. And then as riders there, caution Apex Bank on timing, taxes on forex inflation. Want process to be more about incentives than coercion. Up there, Senate to approve federal government 250 billion naira gas expansion program. Former minister tackles Obasanjo over democracy not working for Africa comments. United Nations Airlines diverts Abuja flight to Asaba over bad weather. Gunmen kidnap and kill Igbo monarch. Israel vows to restart fighting in Gaza after hostages return. Tinubu presidency is God ordained, says Oba of Benin. Zenith Bank transforms Ajose Adeogun Street with Christmas decoration. Curfew in Sierra Leone after gunmen attack on military barracks detention centers. 87 trillion naira debt. Serap asks World Bank to scrutinize loans to Nigeria's estate. Alleges mismanagement, diversion of funds by subnationals. Bayelsa community protests alleged military invasion. These are what we have. Let's start with the debt. 87 trillion naira debt. Now, Serap is asking World Bank to scrutinize the loans they are giving to some states in Nigeria.
Because that's what I'm saying.
Management of funds.
If the people, our managers, have much interest in our country and in our people, the money that has been given to the states is enough to run the states. And they put capital investment. Because if they keep borrowing money to spend on salary, on feeding, it makes no sense. But if they have borrowed money for capital investment that will keep the state running at all times, definitely the money will come back. If you borrow money to do the roads, the road users will do more business than we pay tax to the government. If they invest in something like businesses, the businesses will generate money as well as employing people, taking people away from the street, the youth away from the street. But if they borrow money, just like they say they want to do palliative because of yeah. Now, you bought a bag of rice and give to people. How many days are they going to eat that rice? If they had used the same money to go and keep up our refineries, it's better. So when we are crying, we'll cry once. But you use that 5 billion given to the states, which is amounting to how much billion? Those 5 billion for 36 states. If they invest it in refineries, it will get it up. Then we know we are crying for a particular time, after which we know the refineries will start working and things will be better for us. You buy a bag of rice and give to people. They will eat it highest 1 week, highest 1 month. Then they resume the trouble again. So I think our managers should be planning and thinking well. Nobody will die because of hunger within the period they will fix the refineries. All it will take us is to structure our stomach well. If we are eating 1, 2, 3 a day, maybe you reduce add 0, 1, 0. Or you divide the two and make it, structure it where that if you are eating like this, you bring it closer so that you'll be able to manage the whole day. The stomach is functional once something goes in. It doesn't matter how much quantity you put in your stomach at a time. So what I know is that our managers should be thinking and planning well. This is giving 5 billion to buy rice for people. I have never been in favor of it. Because I know it's just for just a moment. So you want to tell me that next month they will bring another 5 billion and give to people again? It's just that is just, for me, sometimes I think, when you think, if you go to other countries and see how things are structured, right, you think if our own people here were not human beings, or maybe spirit here helping those people to run their economies. But people are just stealing money anyhow without thinking.
Well, talking about economies and other countries, what do you have to say, Samuel, about this comment from Obasanjo, former president, saying that democracy is not working for Africa, but he's been attacked by a minister?
Okay, so
for that statement.
It is glaring to each and every one of us, really. We know how democracy has been in Africa, and democracy cannot be working in Africa, and we'll be seeing the recurrent coup going on. And I remember where you talked about what is going on in Sierra Leone. This is a function of citizens who are dissatisfied with what is happening in their country. Yes, we know there are crises, we know there are violence in developed countries, but they don't have it this bad. And they don't have it where they barely see food to eat. So anybody who wants to throw away what the former president said because of his own peculiarities, because of his own controversial nature, I think they are not being fair to Nigerians. An average Nigerian and an average African, what we really want is a better welfare package of life. When my co-analyst was talking about restructuring 010, for me, I felt bad. I mean, you cannot tell me what to eat and when not to eat. If I'm hungry, I should eat. So that should be the responsibility of the government to make sure that these things are available. So the issues now is for you to assess it, what can you do? And now this is still bringing me back to the situation we have as a country. Democracy cannot be working when, as a nation, we have been warned ahead of time. Yet, despite the warning, despite the landmines that we have seen, we still go and put our legs, ourselves into it. I remember January this year, DMO, the Debt Management Office, warned that Buhari was going to leave 77 trillion naira debt when he's leaving. Just May, when the new president was sworn in to now, we are now going to 87 trillion. So just 10 trillion naira added to what we were warned by DMO that we are going to be in less than how many months. So, and the issue really is not with the borrowing of the money, it's what we do with the money. How far have we invested in healthcare? How far have we invested in education? How far have we invested in health, in agriculture? And we have teeming youths who are doing nothing. Today we're talking about 21st century and then the craze for AI and technology. Why can't we have a government who would really think and even start up the process? We've talked about them setting up a committee that will address whatever that's going on in the natural gas sector. Why can't they also set up a committee that would even start up that conversation? What do we need to do to harness the potentials of the youth towards becoming big players in health or in health financing or in health tech and agri-technology and other areas? And if they start up that conversation, just start up the conversation. Then Nigerians who have these ideas and people are really doing a lot at the local level, let them just put it into a national basket and they harness it and say, this is a framework that every youth who are interested to really go into tech in health or tech in education, tech in, just give us and let the CSOs talk to Nigerians about it. You will see, we'll begin to compete with other nations. If not, I'm telling you, if not, we'll just still remain where we are. And the truth is, the world is far ahead of us. If we don't catch up with them, we'll be left behind.
I keep wondering, if I know that you don't have the capacity to lend what I'm going to borrow you, why would I borrow you in the first place?
So
So now, Sarah coming up to say that World Bank should stop or rather scrutinize the borrowing process to which Nigerian government and state governors and the rest of them come to borrow money. The question should be, what do they tell the World Bank to get these monies? You understand? Because okay, it's a matter of policy.
Yes, because the World Bank is for everybody.
Yes.
So you have right to go and borrow.
Even when the previous ones you borrowed has not been used judiciously.
If the World Bank, if it's not an issue of policy,
yeah,
they will tell you no. But if the police says they must give, and remember, our people are very crafty. They know what the World Bank needs in their presentation. Once they present it and it's okay by them, they will give you. That is what there are some of the things, the factors that is fighting our money.
So in other words, Sarah telling World Bank to stop or to scrutinize, it's not going to happen.
It will happen because what makes policy is when people have started agitating on something, they start amending it.
Okay.
So why did they amend laws? They amend law because some people keep saying this law is not good for us, this law is not good for us. Then, like they will normally set up committee. They will set up committee to look into it.
Okay, so maybe we are waiting for World Bank to set up.
They will. No, but the World Bank, the international communities don't set the kind of committee we set here. The committee we set here will always be on personal relations and again on what they will gain. If not, why would they keep telling us now they want to set up committee for natural gas? Why? Don't they know where the problem is and go there and tackle it? Those committees they are setting, they will pay them allowance. They will come and start it. And the problem with, once they are paying them allowance, they will not want to set up, they will not want to conclude the investigation. It will continue going and people are suffering.
No problem. Quickly, because of want of time, let us go to the next paper we'll have for review this morning, and that will be the Nation newspaper. CBN revises measures to cut food energy inflation. That's the banner headline there. And then the writer there is saying, Cardoso to unveil plan. Government cautions producers against export amid soaring gas price. Shuaibu's declaration renews Edo 2024 battle with Obaseki. Clash of camps likely at venue. ECOWAS condemns attempts to truncate democracy government in Syria alone. And then we also have United Nigeria Airlines explain diversion of Lagos-Abuja plane to Asaba. Federal government woos foreign investors with 100% FX repatriation. $134 million AFDB loan will boost dry season farming, food security. And we have Adeleke absence. Adeleke absence on anniversary day raises dust in Osun. NDLEA swoops on drug party arrest organizers in Osogbo. Quickly, CBN revises measures to cut food and energy inflation. Same thing we've been talking about, the government coming up with ideas on how to, cut food
Let's also merge it with talking about AFDB saying that $134 million loan will boost dry season farming and also
food security.
African Development Bank, they have, the thing is that when you look at, let me not go abroad even, within our African zone, there are governments that are working, that are thinking for their people. Yes, they are not big, they don't have too much people, they don't have too much money, but they manage what they have. I will tell you, I've always been proud of Ethiopia. Ethiopia has not much thing. They only have coffee, and they use this airline to go abroad and get money. You understand? But they are not flamboyant. They don't have just like we do shakara here. They don't, because they know they don't have, but they manage what they have. But here I will tell you, in Nigeria, every mineral in this world is deposited in the soil of Nigeria. But we're only interested in oil and gas. How about now the gold they have now, they say it's Zamfara gold, not Nigerian gold. And now people are killing themselves over that day.
You talked about mango going all year round, you understand, in abroad.
Yes.
With $134 million, don't you think we can have that in this part of the world?
That is if we are going to implement and use the money for the same program. If we are not going to buy jeeps and fly abroad and get private jets.
So the main issue we are facing in this country is not just about getting those, but getting those.
The implementation, that is what I'm saying. You don't go and borrow money to buy food and think you pay back. It's not possible. It's just like me and you go to beer parlor to drink. You borrow, you say, nah, you get 2,000 there, I give you 2,000. And tomorrow I will come and ask you for the money. Is it possible? You will tell me, but if you have borrowed the 2,000 and use it to buy something to resell or use it to go and plant something somewhere, I have hope that one day the something you planted will mature. If you didn't give me money, I'll come and take part of it. But
just to add to this, I don't know Nigerians really understood sometime when the current president went to New York for a UN program. I don't know we really understood the gravity of what happened that period. Because if we do, it's enough for us to shed tears. Goodluck's and Ebele Jonathan's tenure, really, the then president of Nigeria, because of the issues around wheat consumption, they wanted to boost local production and farming. Of course, they also had people who were importing. But because Goodluck does not want to really stop those importing, they had to create a special account and made a particular percentage of money like that is taxable that will be going into that account for anybody who imports. So by that, naturally, market will take care of itself, because if theirs is high by what they are doing, and they will then use that money and be supporting the local production. It was then. That is where this president, this current administration, had to take money from, severance, that they used to fund their trip to UN. This is wheat for wheat farmers. Money that should be going to support wheat farmers. And we are here talking about CBN. After all, it's also in the covers of the CBN and the Ministry of Finance. They know how they manage it. So when we are talking about wastefulness, we want a government that will be more intentional, really. So beyond the $134 million that Africa Development Bank will be giving to Nigerians, we want to see what the government will do. So that is what we are saying. We want to see them. We want to see real times how this finance can really translate to food on the table, because that is part of what is causing the inflation. If you check out Consumer Production Index of Nigeria, food inflation keeps going high. An average woman goes to the market, and then an average Nigerian goes to the market. The price that you get for a food commodity today will be different from what you get it the next day. And they will keep telling you that it is forest. They will keep telling you. But we have things that we really, so for the CBN really to begin to revise whatever they want to revise around inflation, that should curb inflation in food and energy. I think that is the way we need to go. But check the previous APC government, really. They made a lot of promises when they even told us about the Nigerian air. So for me, I go beyond what I hear. I want to see real concrete things that we can say the government is making steps towards ensuring that they tame these situations. If not, because they are educated, because they are learned, they can use English to confuse us and make us think they are working. But after 4 years, even when you take, when you want to monitor what they are doing, or you take a sample of what they have done to really put it into concrete terms, you see that they just talk, and no single action.
All right, let's go over to the next paper. That's the Guardian newspaper. We can see Cuba aftershocks. Kogi queries Monarch as APC gives Kano AG ultimatum. And then MBS, imperative of creating stronger, vibrant data system. Women lawyers canvass castration of a rapist. And the judiciary and Justice Datijo Mohammed's concern. Okay, and then let's quickly see what we have on the front page of the Daily Trust. 5.6 billion naira with project scam. Ex-Nazra boss arrested 11 months after sacking. NAB lobbying for reappointment. Boats away 32 official vehicles. No comment coming from DSS. Wike Fubara feud continues to put Rivers on edge. Consider economic indices before banks recapitalization, experts tell CBN. And then the federal government, okay, we've seen that. Tinubu pledges full university autonomy. Catholic priest remanded for impregnating a teenager in Anambra. ECOWAS court orders amendment of Nigeria Press Conduct Act. Let's take the last paper and review them together because of want of time.
That will be the Nigerian Tribune. Why CBN governor is right on bank recapitalization? That's coming from the expert. And there's the writer that says, inflation, naira depreciation, weakening capital adequacy of banks. I want national, regional, international banks to coexist. ECOWAS condemns attempted coup in Sierra Leone. Suspense in Plateau over moves to inaugurate assembly. We have surpassed our first year good governance targets. That's coming from Adeleke. And NDLEA NABS, organizers of Osun illicit drug party tagged on Holy Alliance. NJC panel meets tomorrow to pick 11 new Supreme Court justices. And then ex-CGN, Kutugi's son, Aburi Samani, others on FJSC priority is the least award. Multiple banks charges amid rising inflation worry Nigerians. Obaseki deputies set for showdown, fixed event for same venue. Petroleum minister wades into LPG supply, price hike challenges.
All right, you've seen that one. Let's quickly look at what is happening in Rivers State between Wike and Fubara. From what we have on the front page of Daily Trust, they are saying that their fight has continued to put Rivers State on edge.
Rivers State has always been on fight. When Amechi was there, he was always fighting with the PDP and the President Jonathan, using Wike to fight there against Amechi. Today, Wike came in. Yesterday, Wike was there as governor, and he was landlord, making sure he suppressed everybody. And today, Fubara has come. Wike is in Abuja fighting. Why is Wike not resting up, giving up, and let other people run the state, as he was able to do during his time? He wants to be in Abuja and be in River State also.
Well, to me, I don't think it's a case of Wike being Abuja and running River State. I think it's a case of what the rule of law should be.
If you serve as a governor for 8 years, you hands off. There's no God for that reason. in election.
That is why.
Even if you brought in somebody, then let the rule of law take place.
Because,
and that is why I begin to wonder what kind of government we have in this part of the world.
Okay, let me tell you what happened. You know, our president now, Tinubu, was in Lagos from 1999 when he came in as governor and continued till he became president. Wike said he doesn't want anybody to tamper with his structure. He kept in River State. That is to say, he wants to be a landlord in River State forever. If not, what is his own concern? You finished, you are finished. You've done your 8 years. You were chief of staff to Amaechi. So you were there. From there, you were sent to go and be the Minister of State for Education. From there, you came back as a governor. So what else do you want? Today, you are Minister of Abuja. Only you. And you don't want your structure. Which structure? Is it your structure or the state structure? You cannot say because you are a governor and you put in somebody. Somebody put you there too. You didn't just wake up and become governor. Somebody worked for you to be the governor of River State. And as a result, you don't go and start causing problems there. Before you know anything, they will start killing people. And the state will not work because the governor is busy fighting. So people should talk to Wike to keep back and face his own. Go and do the Abuja work they gave you and leave the state alone.
I think this is where the party needs to come in also to see if they can quench whatever it is that is happening.
Which party? APC or PDP?
I mean, PDP, APC, ruling party, and then opposition.
Wike and his own said he
So
will.
federal government should say something.
He said he will take PDP to court if they ask him to leave PDP. That is just working for APC. How can you be? Is it bilateral relation? You must be here and be here. The truth about it is just the system in Nigeria is just too confusing. I don't understand. Yes, I understand the fact that there is all-inclusive government. Yes, brain from this party from. But at the same time, Wike is using the current strength he has in this government to fight. If not, why would you? You are not even satisfied. You came out as a governor and serving as a governor again because a minister of Abuja is also a governor of Abuja. Why are you not tired?
NJC panel meets tomorrow to pick 11 new Supreme Court justices. Is this meant to be a hoorah for Nigeria based on what we've seen in our judiciary?
So, I used to follow one of my mentors, if I would use that word, Professor Chidi Odinkalu. He's a son, and one time human rights, the DG of human rights of Nigeria, in Nigeria. I used to follow his articles and then his thoughts around the judiciary. Unfortunately, the practice we have in Nigeria is we imbibe half-truths. Typical example, when it comes to the NJC, that is their work, really. And having people who should be in the Supreme Court, of course, they are tenured. So there's a particular time, remember, before the Supreme Court made their rulings, I think 2 justices expired, their time expired. So they had to replace them. Now, the argument that we have is, as NJC come together to really choose who will replace these justices, are they going to be fair? Are they going to make sure that their choice will not be based on party line, planning ahead of 2027? But let it be that people who are competent, people who have the capacity, and people who, because there is hierarchy and there is ranking to this. I mean, ordinarily, if they don't do the right thing, we have started to crumble the country further. And whatever happens in Nigeria will be on them.
All right, we want to say a very big thank you to both of you for joining us on the show this morning. Thank you so much, Onyeka Obieze, for being here.
You are welcome and God bless you. The truth about the whole thing is, the country will move forward if we want it to move forward. If I have not been to other countries, I would think maybe this is the system the whole world runs. But our own is quite different. You cannot compare this Nigerian system to other systems around the world.
All right, Samuel thank you so much for being part of the show this morning.
Yeah, thank you very much. For us, we are calling that the citizens must come together and become more active. We like the energy. We need to sustain it and even take it higher to make sure we hold our government accountable.
All right, that's it on Press Review. Thank you so much for joining us. We are taking a short break. When we come back, we'll see you at the other side. Stay with us.